Here.
Mr. Bordelon?
Here.
And note that Mr. Brazier is absent. And you also have Larry Bankston, Anna Dow, and myself, Cindy Evans here. And you have,
Madam Chairman?
Yes.
I'd like to amend the agenda to propose a commendation for Sandy Edmonds for the many years of service and her dedication to the Auctioneers Committee.
In order to amend the agenda, we need to have a second.
Second.
And we need to poll the board. It has to be unanimous, and we'll call for a vote.
Mr. Bordelon?
Yes.
Ms. Jacobs?
Yes.
Mr. Pinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Sims? Mrs. Simon?
Yes.
All right, and I have actually, I myself obviously have to make a motion, but I have a last minute application that was, we called just a few minutes before 5 yesterday, and has an auction with Mankind, I think, in the month, and he's asking that you guys will approve his application pending receipt of all the documents and testing. But it has to be amended, we want to add to the agenda. We can take up
We have a motion.
What's his name?
I shall make
His
the
name
motion.
is Michael Bringer.
I
We
make
have
the
a
motion.
motion. Do I have a second?
Six.
We want to poll the board for a vote.
Yes. Mr. Bordelon?
Yes.
Ms. Jacobs?
Yes.
Mr. McMillan?
Yes.
Ms. Sims?
Yes.
Ms. Steinkamp?
Yes.
So we'll add him to, he will end up being tested. We'll add him to number 3 under tested applicants. Michael Brenner, B-R-U-N-E-R.
Discuss that when we get to number 3.
Yeah.
So we're not
That would be under, my business.
new business. Okay, I'll put yours under new business then. Darlene. Okay, so number 2 on the agenda, public comments on the following agenda items. Does anyone like to make a public comment? Sherry?
Go ahead, Freddie, you go first if you want to.
Freddie? Sure. You are welcome to speak for 5 minutes on any item on the agenda.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Happy New Year to y'all. I just have one question, and it's related to my trade association, Louisiana Association of Professional Auctioneers, and why it has not been added to the board's website.
Did you ask for this to be put on the agenda, or did you ask
But
for
it wasn't an agenda item, I mean,
It's
used
not an
car-
agenda item.
The
Did
used
you
car
ask for it to be
commission.
put on the website?
No, the used car was never asked, but it was put up as well, so I was just trying to see why it wasn't put, it's been over a year.
Okay, I don't know that answer, Freddie, but I will definitely get back with you. If it's not on the agenda, maybe we can talk about it after. Anything else on the agenda? Anyone else has a comment on the agenda? Sherry?
I guess it would fall under approval of the minutes, which I don't have a copy of, but I have a statement I'd like to make. I'd like to read it. I listened to the audio of the last meeting and read the article in the newspaper, and I wanted to say that the way that some of the
Sherry,
members responded,
excuse me, Sherry.
Is this an item on the agenda?
I think it has to do with the minutes and the roll call.
In what regard?
In what regard? It's something that I want to comment on, having to do with the roll call vote and the meeting that
I don't
was.
think that item, I don't think that is an appropriate response to the agenda.
Fine, I'll pass my statement out to the board members, and I'll give it to Mr. Burns to post on his website, and you can read it at your leisure.
Did you have anything else, Sherry, you wanted to say about it?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, well, thank you, Sherry.
You're quite welcome.
And Ms. Burns, you would like to?
I'll give you one,
comment?
Freddie. I'll be happy.
Can you hold this?
Sure, we want to hold his camera for him, he was asking.
Sure, just one second. Anybody else want a copy? Okay. Where are you going, Robert?
I'm gonna go talk about where you were.
Mr. Burns is going to make public comment on the agenda items.
Good morning. I see we lost the podium, so I'm gonna have an impromptu podium. I'm not gonna
Use this
mention.
if you want, Mr. Burns, if you want to use this.
All right, that's fine.
Right?
I'm not gonna seek clarification of the minutes because, you know, the minutes are what they are, and what took place in this meeting is what it is. So I'm not gonna comment on the minutes. I will, however, say that there was about a 61-minute discussion of a particular agenda item last time involving the process that'll be used for, and I'm sure something's bound to be in the minutes on that because I know y'all took a motion in a second. And I condensed down to about 19 minutes of that, and I'm just going to state what I observed was nothing but pure rank corruption, period. Now that's my commentary on the minutes. It was pure rank corruption. I've got the tape, y'all can feel free to go listen to it. And I've got the elaboration on it. So as he said, the website will be available and you can easily see it. With regard to the per diem, which I know that apparently
Mr. Burns, the per diem issue is not on.
It was discussed, Mr. Bankston, and
It's not on the agenda. If you'd like to discuss any item on the agenda, feel free to do so, but it's not on the agenda.
the minutes are on the agenda, Mr. Bankston.
The per diem issue is not on the agenda.
The minutes are.
There's no reference.
How do I know what's referenced in the minutes, Mr. Bankston? I don't have a copy.
It's posted,
No, it's not.
Not till
not to
today.
be approved.
That's correct.
Well, they haven't been.
So I'm going to make, well, I understand that, and I'm making a statement about what should be in there.
Well, that's, Mr. Burns, that's out of order.
Very well. That comment too will go forward. Now, move to something that is authoritatively on the agenda, and that is number 5, wherein apparently y'all plan to go into executive session to discuss my litigation. I hope some of you at least took a little time to read that litigation and have made note of the Corvell lawsuit that I made reference to. The appeals court stated, and I'm going to take just a couple quick quotes that they made from that, which was, it is essential to the maintenance of a democratic society that public business be performed in an open and public manner, and that the citizens be advised of and aware of the performance of public officials and the deliberations, decisions that go on in the making of public policy. I understand that that you say you may go into executive session based on the tail end of 4217A2, which says our litigation when an open meeting would have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body. You read that Corvell lawsuit, you'll see where the appellate judge has stated, reciting what the commission was going to discuss is different from showing that a discussion would be detrimental. Thus, we affirm that portion of the trial court's decision, which was, well, other people aren't speaking up, so I mean, it's barely a whisper when there was some previous discussions, but I will reduce the volume. You're quite right. I would also ask that y'all increase a little bit there. If he didn't have it, if Corvell didn't have it, I'll be quite perplexed to see just how this body is going to, we're talking about an open meetings lawsuit where there is no detrimental effect to the public body. You did it, the whole fact that you're coming in here to now, do a revised deliberations admits that you did it, okay? I mean, there is no detrimental effect to the public body, but you have an attorney, and I'm sure he may pose arguments that he will. I'm fully prepared to go pose arguments that he doesn't, so I'm letting you know that if you go into executive session again, you can probably expect another knock on some doors. With that, I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. Barnes.
Madam Chairman, since I only used a couple of minutes, I just have.
Sure, come back over here.
Brady, you can come up here.
Thank you very much. Let me just, because Mr. Bankston did state that certain items were not on the agenda, but the approval of minutes is on the agenda from the last meeting. And it has to be voted on before it's posted on the website. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Okay, with that statement being said, then at some point in time, the minutes are not approved until they are approved by the board. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So therefore, public comments then needs to be moved up prior to the approval of the minutes, so that whatever comments that need to be made prior to the minutes could be made concerning the minutes from the previous meeting. Would that be correct?
You can make your comments in reference to the minutes of the next meeting as it relates to minutes that have been approved in the previous meeting.
Correct, but I'm saying
It's not this meeting.
Correct,
Next
but-
meeting.
Correct, but the minutes of the previous meeting was at the same time minutes that you voted on that we did not see. So what I'm asking that the board do is to move the public comments up before the approval of the previous meeting's minutes.
Move public comment underneath approval of minutes for the
Or
next.
before, because it is,
Agenda.
It is before. Public
Yeah,
comments
it's
are
before.
before.
You mean
Oh.
after.
yeah, yes, the minutes.
So you're asking us to move public comment to number 3 and put approval of minutes as number 2 in the future.
Well, no, yes,
No?
yes, correct, because
Okay, I understand.
Because what's happening is, we cannot comment on what transpired at this juncture in the last meeting. And I do ask that the minutes be expanded detailedly to especially comment upon the roll call.
I'm sure the board will take that into consideration.
Well, we've had certain minutes put in, expanded on various items that I can recall, statements that I made, and they were put into the meeting without the board having anything to say about it. And so, I mean, at some point in time, we need to kind of consider that, because if not, then the board's partiality toward putting minutes into detail.
Okay, well, Freddie, we will definitely look into switching, I understand what you're saying about switching the public comment to number 3 and approval of minutes to number 2. We'll look into that. Anything else?
I didn't use up my 5 minutes, so. I'm gonna go back to exactly what he said. I want somebody to tell me, it says, public comment on the following agenda items, and then after that it says approval of minutes. Tell me what I'm supposed to discuss. That, okay, I guess y'all can approve the minutes, is that all I can say?
Robert, actually, I'm sorry, Mr. Barnes, actually.
You can call me Ron.
You can comment on anything on the agenda. But Freddie Mr. Phillips just made the point to switch it around, and we just said we would look into that. We'll take that into consideration.
I understand, but does not
Okay.
these instructions say public comment on the following agenda items? And the number 3 is approval of minutes.
Right.
I rest my case.
Okay.
Otherwise, you just say, well, y'all feel free to approve the minutes. We don't have any comment on them, but y'all can feel free to approve them, irrespective of what they say.
Mr. Burns, you have the opportunity at the next, once the minutes are approved, you have the opportunity at the next for a correction. You have an opportunity for, once they are officially adopted by the board, you will have the opportunity at the next meetings to say, these minutes are incorrect, they don't reflect what transpired, and you have that opportunity at the next meeting.
All I know, Mr. Bankston, is it says we are free to comment on the following items, and the very next item is approval of minutes from November 5th, 2012. It doesn't say anything about you need to wait until March 5th to comment on the November 5th meeting minutes.
And you are in fact commenting on that very issue right now.
I am commenting on the November 12th. Yeah, but I'm being told everything I wanted to say. Yeah, I'm commenting on the fact y'all don't want me to comment on them. You want to call that commenting? So I disagree with your statement that I'm commenting on them. I'm commenting on the procedure. Every effort that was made by any person who came up here and spoke with regard to those minutes was shut down, as the record will clearly reflect.
Any other member of the public would like to make comment before we move on? Public comment? That's okay? Okay, we're going to go on now to number 3, approval of minutes from the November 5th meeting. We have a motion to I have a motion, I need a second.
So moved.
I have a second.
These chairs out so we'll talk on each other.
I have a first and a second to approve the minutes from the 5th. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, number 4, old business. We're going to do approval of tested auctioneer applicants. We have 2. We can take these.
We have 3 because we added one, but yes, take them separately, please. We added Michael.
Oh, I thought we were putting one under number 3. Okay,
Oh,
I
no,
understand
sorry.
now. He's number 3, number 1.
Yeah, yeah.
Unattested. Okay.
May I ask you a question, Ron? He was a supervisor, or did he go to a school?
Okay, we're gonna take him separate, okay?
Okay.
Let's take, can we take the first two
Yes.
together?
No.
No, okay, let's take each one separate, okay? So Marissa,
Marissa Letterman, everything is in order in her file, and she's ready to be licensed.
Move to approve.
do you have a second?
Second.
Any questions? File, everything she wants to
Yeah,
file,
everything.
Marissa Letterman, I have a motion and a second to approve her for her auctioneer license. All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Number 2, Melissa.
Yes, Melissa Carstead. Again, everything is in order in her file. Her testing location was up in New Hampshire, and she tested on January 3rd. All of the FedEx documents were sent to them to FedEx their test back, and it just has not been received back in the office as of yet. So I haven't graded her test because I don't have it.
Yes, but she's taken the test.
She has taken the test, and her application is all in order.
Move to accept upon passing the test once all the FedEx are.
So moved.
I have a first and a second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, now let's go to number 3. This is Michael Warner. who
Yes.
Called yesterday.
Yes,
That was
Viv.
added to it.
Yes, Viv Michael Bruner, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but he works for Mannheim, First Choice Auto Auction, and also Odessa. Yeah, everything was faxed. Like I said, he called like at 10 minutes to 5. He has an auction he'd like to work at the end of January. I'm gonna pass this around. I explained to him that the best I could do for him on such short notice was first ask you guys to amend the agenda to put him onto the agenda. And then secondly, ask you guys to approve it pending receipt of all original documents and testing.
Do you have any information as to whether or not he was an apprentice or whether or
He
not
was an
had
apprentice,
one
he
school
was an apprentice, that's a great question. He was an apprentice in Texas.
in Texas?
And he was previously licensed in Texas. However,
I
now.
thought he went to auction school.
He did not go to auction school. He apprenticed, and like I said, he was previously licensed in Texas, but he let that license go because he predominantly now works in Oklahoma and Missouri.
And he does car
neither
auction.
of those have auction license.
He does car auction primarily?
Yes. Now, he does have a conviction notated on his application that I want you all to be aware
What was
of.
that for?
And he did send that information over. Is that something I should?
Yeah, I thought that was-
Okay, just making sure.
What's on the application is what we need.
Okay, just
What was
making
it
sure.
for?
It is drug possession and theft of a stolen vehicle, or possession of a stolen vehicle. No, it's not possession.
And how old was he when that happened?
It was back in 2000.
License for sure.
Well, I don't think they legally determine the legal
Just-
terminology, not possession of a stolen vehicle.
Was it felonies or misdemeanors?
I believe they were, honestly, let me not answer. I don't
Depending on the
know.
state, it could be.
Either one.
Huh?
We have no further information other than what's on the application, because I just learned about it this morning. Normally, we would go through an investigation process.
Right, and it is something that when I spoke to the gentleman yesterday on the phone, it did not come up in conversation. So when I received his fax at about 9:30 last night and looked at the item, I immediately sent him an email letting him know that I would immediately need some additional information because I knew that you guys would want that information. So I spoke to him on the phone again this morning, and he did email me just a brief description, but I have no
Well,
documents.
because he's selling cars, primarily that's what he's been going to the auction, his cars. He's got a theft of a car, or so we think, with regard to the previous record. I want to know more about that before I approve this application.
I agree.
I
I
really do.
move this application be forwarded to March 5th.
Do you have a second?
I second.
And I have a problem that we need to think about the fact that he apprenticed in another state.
So if we move it to March 5th, we can.
I want to know more about that too.
Yeah,
Right.
because I'm not sure that
And
qualifies.
also add that motion that he was to be notified that it's been an auction in the state of Louisiana
Right.
until after this movement.
And
A
I'd like
first and
to,
a second. Any other
Second.
discussion?
I would also like a certified copy of the bill of information regarding the charges, the two previous charges. Apparently, he either pled guilty to or was found guilty to. I want to see the bill of information from the district attorney and what he pled to.
And the plea.
Exactly, if it was a plea or if he was found guilty.
Okay, so I have a first, I have a motion to postpone this until we can put this on the agenda for the March. Is it March 5th?
It is,
March 5th.
March 5th.
And I have a second.
yes.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, number 2, approval of auction business applicants. we're gonna take these separate as well. Number one, Treasure Chest Auction House, Independence, Louisiana.
Yes, everything is in order in your application.
Bond.
Yes, ma'am.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Number two, ABC Baton Rouge LLC.
Yes, and I want to just point out that, Mr. Kevin, say your last name, please.
Rembert?
Rembert is present, with this application. He is one of the, owners of the business. So if you want anything from him, but I will tell you that their application is 100% complete.
I have some questions, if he doesn't mind answering
No,
questions.
not at all.
I see where your main office is in Indianapolis.
Yes, ma'am.
And what do you all specialize in?
Automobile auctions.
The automobile auctions?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're planning on holding the auctions here in?
Baton Rouge, yes, ma'am.
I see. How long have y'all been in business in Indiana?
He started in business, he was one of the founders of Odessa Auctions
All right.
many years ago. He branched off, sold his percentage there, and he has ABC has been in business, I believe, about 12, 14 years.
And how many
As
states
a
do y'all
seller.
want?
He has 8 auctions in 8 different states right now.
Are
And
you
this
going
would be
to
the first
handling-
one here.
Are you going to be handling the Baton Rouge one? or-
Yes, ma'am, I'll be
You'll
locally.
actually have a local office here.
Yes, ma'am, we'll have an actual auction house that we're building out by the airport in Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge needs some money. Good.
It's
Good.
20 acres, it's about a $5 million development so far with room to grow, and I'll be a part owner in it also, and I live here.
Good, great.
Can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
And have a second. Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, number 3, approval of reciprocal auctioneer, Scott Foster, Pennsylvania.
Yes, we have Scott, he's licensed in Pennsylvania and Kentucky. We are, still missing the letter from Pennsylvania. However, we did get his good standing letter from Kentucky. All of his applications, other than that one letter, is in order. His bond is
And have you taught Pennsylvania? What's the holdup?
Pennsylvania. is-
Hope you enjoyed the entertainment.
It takes a little time.
Anyone against
I
council
move
proceed?
approved pending further. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Number 4, approval of reciprocal auction business applicant, Hunt Auctions from Pennsylvania.
Yes, Hunt is, again, one of these unusual circumstances. All that I have right now is a fax application. They have, FedExed out everything yesterday for delivery sometime today to my office. I do have a copy of a bond. Obviously, I can't, verify it, but there is a copy of a bond. They were working on getting their articles from their bank, and yesterday she was registering with the Secretary of State's office.
I move that we defer to March and see more about it.
First and second, any other discussion on that?
Discussion, do they have an auction pending, anytime here in the future that you know of? They were trying to get this license so they could do something here between now and March.
Yeah, no, that's a good question, and I'm almost positive that they said February.
What kind of options are there?
They do, sports memorabilia and that type of stuff.
Well, I mean, I'd still like to see the documentation, and I think that once we have that, we probably should do a loop by telephone.
Now, they have an auction house in Pennsylvania, and we have all of their paperwork for that.
They do, yes.
just want to have an auction, they want to get an auction, reciprocal license here to hold one auction.
Yes, and Scott Foster, the one that we just approved pending receipt of his letter from Pennsylvania, is their auctioneer.
I said that before, I think if we could
Yes.
amend the motion to, that when the paperwork came in, that it was corrected and approved.
Yeah, I'll go along with that, but I want to
If she
check.
gets all the paperwork and I approve it, can we get a motion?
Yes.
And, everything is on the bond.
Absolutely, everything. They're aware of that.
He made the motion. What, no, I asked for her to amend it. Okay, that's her motion.
I'll amend it, pending the paperwork. If the paperwork is in order, then I don't see really have a problem, but not seeing the paperwork. And since it's not here, I have a problem.
Well, you can see the paperwork, it's just not the original. and then we would need the original bond. They did fax it, but we didn't, you're gonna FedEx, right?
Yes, it's supposed to arrive today.
And we have it all FedEx.
So then I'll amend my motion pending.
Original. Okay.
Do you have a second? That was Jim. Second. Any other discussion? Everybody understands the motion now? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I knew I needed
The ayes have it. Okay, number 5, approval of apprentice applicant Aaron Bruce, Red River, Louisiana, supervisor for Winter Roads.
Yes. His, are they what?
I just thought that they were here.
Oh, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Yes, everything is in order in his application, and, Belinda Rhodes is, a new auctioneer. You guys just approved her license not long ago.
How long ago?
At the last meeting.
Has she done the auctions?
She holds a weekly auction is what I'm told, of selling, furniture, like out of like a family, furniture. They have different booths inside of the business where different vendors, put their items up for sale. And the things that aren't selling, they do an auction.
Yeah, the bond.
Everything is in order in his file. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a question of, do you want someone that just got a license last month apprenticing someone? But there's nothing in the law or in the rules and regulations that
What are the
requires.
statutes?
There is
Follow
nothing.
statute.
Unless Anna can find something.
Has there ever been a precedent set on that any document?
Not really, I'm looking to see the statute.
There was about a year ago when, I think you know Jim Smith. You know Jim Smith? Jim Smith had, an apprentice, and you guys had this same similar type conversation because Jim had just himself become licensed.
Maybe at Ashcraft, we,
Ashcraft had got his license the same day Jim did.
been an auction business, that was a lot of years, we auction years, so we had some background on one. This girl, the footage was auction.
Belinda Rhodes.
I'm sorry, I did not grab her actual application.
That's the number.
That's discretionary with the board to make decisions as to whether or not the auctioneer, would be appropriate.
I'd like more information on the auctioneer. The auctioneer herself went to auction school. I think she's a competent auctioneer and therefore can serve, have apprentices.
She
serve under her.
definitely did go to auction school, that I can tell you.
Which school was that?
I don't remember, and I'm sorry.
I'd like to
didn't
have
grab
that
her file.
information. There's nothing in the law to prohibit it, although I think there should be. But if it isn't in the law.
It's been discussed before, and, there was a proposals made that we put some of those rules on, but they never made it into the regulations.
Well, you know, we can't do it just for this particular case, but I would like to see some more information on the auctioneer, and I'll move to defer it until March.
Ready to have a first and a second to defer the approval.
We have some hands up.
They don't want to acknowledge. I was just going to give you a bit
I
of
can't.
information regarding that, but I'll tell you
All
afterwards.
right.
Certainly can. Done it before.
I know, but we're gonna stick to the agenda. right?
Well, I want to
That's
be
all right.
recognized on something, and my time was
It
interrupted.
can wait till after the.
Well, I'm talking about mine. I'm going to have one coming up, so my time was interrupted repeatedly.
Well, Ms. Steinkamp and Ms. Darlene Jacobs have recognized me prior to. I was just gonna say I was a part of
I don't
that.
have any objection if he says anything.
Darlene,
Well,
okay, you can't.
Why can't you? You've done it with Mr. Henderson.
You didn't recognize Mr.
You most certainly have. You want me to show you the video?
Burns, you're out of order.
I'm not out of order. This is a whole procedural farce here.
This is why we can't recognize, okay? We recognize one, and then it just gets out of hand. We're gonna stick to the agenda, and everybody can make their comments 5 minutes.
Well, I'm going to say something right now then. No, yes, I am. He said I couldn't discuss per diem. It's part of the financials. Now, I know he wants to censor everything that gets said in here. So do the attorneys. No, I'm not going to stop. Y'all can escort me out.
Out of order,
Ms.
Robert.
Burns, we ask you politely to comply with what we've set up as far as public comment.
And
And you've done that, and public comment is over, so you are finished. It is up to the board members, if they desire to let you be heard on something, that has to be the determination of the board. It's been very informal, but because of your past actions, this is what has caused it.
Oh, you're blaming it on me now.
That because of your past actions, and if you continue, I will ask the deputy to remove.
Would you cite those actions?
If you continue to do this, I will ask the deputy.
But you just named me, and you said it's my past actions, correct? You're on record as saying that, Mr. Bankston, am I correct?
I'm not in a answer question situation with you, Mr. Burns. I've asked you.
You just made a statement.
Mr. Burns, I don't have to respond to you, okay?
You didn't have to make that other statement either, but you did.
The board is.
Okay, we are gonna move on. We're
Madam
not,
Chairman.
I know you do, everybody, but we are gonna stick with the agenda, Freddie. We had 5-minute comments before the meeting. We are going to be here for 2 weeks if we let everybody respond. That's why we've set it up this way, so you can have all your say in the beginning of the meeting. We even let everybody go over 5 minutes, you know, we not even stop.
You said let them have their say. Everybody was interrupted
Please
and said we.
stop interrupting. You cannot interrupt this meeting the entire time. I'm going to have the guard ask you to leave if you keep interrupting.
Yes, ma'am.
Cross the line. Stop it.
Madam Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Phillips.
Okay. I mean, I've been recognized.
We're not going to
Listen
do
to me.
public
I'm not
comment.
making a public comment.
Mr. Phillips,
I just told Mr. Barnes no, Mr. Phillips. I
I'm not
cannot
making a
let
public
you
comment. I
have
was
that
asking a
public
question.
comment.
I was just
If we're
asking a
not
question.
doing question and answers now, we will take a break and I will answer any questions at the break, okay? But not during the meeting. Everybody had their comment. We're gonna move on. We're gonna keep focused here. Thank you all in the audience. Okay. We're at number 5. I'm not even sure where we were with all the interruptions. It's very distracting. Aaron Bruce, Red River. Okay. We had a motion. Can you
Yes,
bring
we
me
have
back to that up to date,
We have
please?
a motion from Darlene, seconded by Jim, to defer this to March.
All right, since we're doing that,
Any discussion on this?
we're in discussion, yes.
Just one thing I would like to see, maybe next meeting's agenda, that we add to our discussion, that how long, or give us some research on how long an auctioneer needs to be an auctioneer, or what type of school they've gone to be a supervisor of another auctioneer. So I'd like to have that on the agenda for the next meeting through this discussion and it's been opened up here. That's
It's just discretionary now, the legal.
Right now, it would be discretionary. He's asking that we actually
Right.
review the option of making a new regulation regarding some requirements.
Absolutely, and I think we do
Okay,
need to
which-
do that.
Yeah.
So, we'll make a mention, put that on the next agenda. And, but for now, it's just strictly discretionary.
It's discretion.
Okay, so
I mean,
I
as
have-
long, there are certain requirements in statute, but she checks that to make sure those were all met with regard before we can get to it.
I have a first and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor to defer this? Say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, new business, approval of financials.
You all have the financial report. There's really nothing to talk about. If you have questions for a second, see what I can do about those.
Everybody has a copy of the financials. Any, let's do a motion and then a second to have discussion. Do I have a motion to
Move A,
accept?
B, and C.
Do I have a second? Anybody have any questions or comments on the financial?
How much money have we collected in bonds?
I can get that answer to you. It's the way that this budget has been set up is,
If I didn't see that on here. I'm just interested.
yeah, I don't think that, oh no, I'm sorry, it is on here. $575.
Does anyone owe us any money on fines?
We do have that one gentleman,
But it
that
has
you
not
guys
paid.
said he did
He did
make
pay?
a
Okay.
payment. He's the only outstanding money,
And that's reflected in $575.
the receipt.
Receipt.
Yes. The very first.
Oh, I see,
document.
yeah, enforcement actions, got it, okay. Any other comments, questions? All in favor to accept the financial, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, we need, number 2, we need to elect a secretary treasurer. We want to keep the nomination.
Can I give maybe a little information on what they're have to do?
Sure, maybe somebody will.
It's a title. There's really no job that goes along with it.
Everybody's going to
No,
Sandy was joking, that's not true.
Well,
That's not totally
the only
true.
thing that I say, a board member to me should be an auctioneer. You know,
And I'm not,
Okay,
yeah.
so Darlene.
But I'm
Darlene,
early
you
to
are
come.
in, you are in Baton Rouge a lot.
So
So,
If nobody else wants it, I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll say it.
Okay, I have a first and a second for Darlene, so let's have a vote. Pull it.
Oh, you want to pull it?
Oh, yeah, let's pull it.
All right, so the motion is to nominate Darlene.
And a second.
Mr. Bordelon.
Yes.
Ms. Jacobs.
I guess you don't want me to add it, but if anybody else wants it.
Yes or no?
Mr. McMillan.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Sims.
Yes.
Ms.
Thank you.
Steinkamp.
Yes.
Thank you for your confidence in me.
It's approved, Darlene.
I'll send you a file box over tomorrow.
Okay, all right.
Darlene's the charge. Congratulations. Okay. Number 3, attorney report, investigative report. Turn this over to Anna.
Okay, right now, again, she reported that, Mr. Rosado, who's NRS 5, has made a payment and has renewed for this year. Obviously, we're still watching to make sure, and I don't know, I haven't seen anything about these scheduled auctions, but we can keep track of that.
Just on a point of information, is this the gentleman that we had trouble getting him to pay this money before?
Yes, he didn't have any money.
So he is finally paying it?
He's paid some on it.
He's making
Yeah.
payment.
Okay,
And
we're
he's-
working with him, that's
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's aware of a deadline, so he
Right,
knows he
so
has
we
to
are
pay it by
working with
the-
him,
Correct.
giving him a chance, that's very
ma'am.
important.
We had set that up that way.
Right.
Okay, and there are no other pending fines that I'm aware of that have not been paid. With regard to upcoming events, we do have at least one complaint under investigation. We have, if you received it, we sent out the summary report. We do have a complaint on Mr. Bueller and the State Auction Services. That has been investigated, and a 961, if you don't know what a 961, that's a notice of noncompliance pursuant to the Administrative Procedure Act, has been sent to them by certified mail, so they are aware of a pending complaint. They've also responded to the complaint in writing. We are going to probably, unless something changes between now and March, we will have that during the March 5th. That is the only thing right now I have scheduled for March 5th. So I think that's, basically where we stand. As far as long as it's not about the facts of the case.
Can't hear. Request for information.
Okay.
When you present your case,
Mhm.
what's the contract,
Yes, oh, yes.
reserves,
Oh, we're-
Yes.
any,
Right.
Those have already been requested.
and so sheets.
Yes, those are all been requested. And as far as I know, all of them have
Type of
received.
auction if we got,
Mhm.
type of auction.
I have not received that, I will certainly ask for that.
All right, number 4, approve auctioneer schools for 2013. We don't have any curriculum changes reported. Everyone was approved last year, this is just renewing the update.
More authority on the list.
Excuse me?
Yes,
These
sir.
are already on the list.
These are already on the list, we're just approving them again, and they're not, no one has reported a change in the curriculum, so it's the same as last year. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any comments, questions, discussion? All in favor to approve the auctioneer schools, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, number 5, a discussion of the recent, a discussion of the recent lawsuit filed by Mr. Burns
Yeah, do you want to take Ms. Jacobs'
Okay,
item
let's
first?
take Ms. Jacobs' item before we go to number 5, because we didn't have that. Ms. Jacobs, you asked to have an item,
Yes, I did.
resolution added
A
to
resolution, and I'd like to amend the agenda to propose a resolution to commend Sandy Edmonds for her years of service to the Auctioneer Board, and also for her dedication to service to this board.
You already amended and that has been approved, so all you need to do now is to move for the commendation.
I'd just like to move for that commendation. Commendation.
Need a second.
Second.
A second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
And you too, Tessa. I think you do a great job.
Thank
I
you.
should add that on here too.
We're good. Okay.
Yay for women.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay. So we are going to go to number 5, a discussion of the recent lawsuit filed by Mr. Burns, and this can be handled in executive session. Do I have a motion?
But first, let me,
Okay, please take the floor.
let me
Mr.
explain to
Langston.
you, executive session, so make sure we're all on the same page. A public body may hold executive session upon the affirmative vote. In other words, there has to be a vote, taken in open meeting for which notice has been given of a 2/3 of the members. So we have to have a 2/3 vote of the members of the board. The executive session shall be limited to matters allowed to be exempt from discussion in open meetings law in RS 42:17. However, no final or binding actions may be taken during the executive session. The vote of each member on the question of the holding of an executive session and the reasons for holding the executive session shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the meeting. Nothing in section RS 42:17 shall be construed to require any meeting to be closed to the public, nor shall an executive session be used as a subterfuge for the purpose of this chapter. Now, let me also explain to you what it says in 42:17(2). Strategy sessions or negotiations with respect to collective bargaining, prospective litigation after formal written demand, or litigation when an open meetings would be detrimental to the effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the body. So the question in this particular case is, there is a lawsuit filed in which the board as well as individual members have been sued by Mr. Burns. And in order to explain to you and give you the position and the aspect of strategy as how to potentially handle this lawsuit, I believe that it meets the criteria of the exception to the open meetings law, and the board can in fact vote for executive session. It will require a formal motion by board members. It will require a 2/3 vote. But the purpose of the meeting is to discuss the strategy as it relates to this particular piece of litigation.
I move that we go into executive session.
Do I have a second?
For the particular reason that's enumerated by,
Mr. Banks.
And now you have to have an
First
actual
and a
vote.
second.
Yes.
Okay, poll,
We're gonna
please.
have a roll call. Mr. Bordelon?
Yes.
Ms. Jacobs?
Yes.
Mr. McMillan?
Yes.
Mr. Sims?
Yes.
Ms. Steinke?
Yes.
Unanimous.
I'm going to ask the public to